Welcome to our live Mandalorian review special. I am your host, Julian Brown, alongside my co-host, the Man of Steel, Matt Reppert, the Master of Puns, Brittany Tomes. I have spoken.
That intro was amazing. Guys, that was like the score from the show.
It was. I put that together special. I Instagrammed about it a little bit ago. I was really excited to put that together. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was nifty. I liked it.
Yeah, one of the cool things that I love about our new intro music and outro is that like you can do like cool, unique things with that, and kind of splice together whatever you want. Like when we do more specials like this. So it is our Mandalorian review special live. This is like our first big non-video live show. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. We have Brittany, who is going to also be chatting with you guys. I'm going to try and chat as well. I have the laptop here. We are going to get right into it. And before we get into the first two chapters of Mandalorian, I think it's important that we talk about Disney Plus, which obviously launched on Tuesday. It got in its first day something like 3.2 million downloads and subscribers. So pretty cool.
I heard it actually, because they mentioned it on the radio on 97.5 The Fanatic, and they briefly they said, I don't know how true this is, but they said that like about 10 million.
Yeah, after the first day, it was like 10 million.
Yeah.
Not nearly enough for us. Mickey wants them all.
Oh man. So yeah, like Matt and I said, 3.2 million on the first day, 10 million plus on the this week basically. It's been 72 plus hours since it's launched. More than that, actually, if we're thinking about it. By the time after I wrote this, it's hit all of our devices. Anything that has an app store, you can download Disney Plus from. I don't know if you guys have downloaded it yet. Are we happy with it?
Why would I download it when I have you?
When you have me.
I can just go over your house and watch The Mandalorian, and Disney doesn't take my money.
That's true. Matt, did you?
I downloaded it. I haven't signed up for it or anything like that. I mean, I can get to my reasons in a little bit, but I mean, much like Brittany, I'm like the only things on there that I'm really like, all right, stoked to watch is The Mandalorian. Like the rest of the Disney movies, I'm like, oh, it's nice, but I don't have kids, and I'm just not in the mood to sit down and watch decades of animated nostalgia.
I got them on VHS. I got them on DVD. That's right, still on VHS.
And for the people in our chat room, obviously welcome. Thank you for listening to us live. Well, we want to know your opinions as well. Have you gotten Disney Plus? Are you happy with the service? And let's get down to that. You guys have been over to my house now twice to watch Mandalorian. You've seen what's on there. This library is pretty vast. It's pretty amazing. What do we think about its library? Is it too small? Is it too big? Is it perfect?
I mean, Disney has always had like a massive library. I mean, you're talking a company that's like 80, 90 years old and like has been producing entertainment in that entire time frame. So they're always going to have a crap ton of content. And that also doesn't include like the various things that they now own, as well as Fox and stuff like that. Like I think The Simpsons is going to Disney Plus if it's not already on there.
Oh, it's there.
It's there, and there's been a little bit
already been stuff
controversy surrounding it. You want to touch on that, Brittany?
Oh, it's just that there's certain episodes that have been taken out. Some of it, like the Simpsons producers decided, like the Michael Jackson. They're like, we're pulling that no matter what.
I own that episode.
There's some other things that because it's Disney, they're changing certain things about it. Same way that they keep changing the Greedo versus Han scene in Star Wars.
I'm trying to interact with everyone who's listening live. Smokey, who is on our live stream, asked she said she got the trial only, but same reason only really got it for Mandalorian. So I think a lot of people are doing it. Be Creative 116 says, how much does it cost? Disney Plus right now for the base is $6.99 a month, which is a steal for everything on there. If you want, I think one of the best things going for Disney Plus right now is their triple bundle that has ESPN and Hulu, commercial supported Hulu for $12.99 a month, which is a really big deal. And yes, Han did shoot first. That is correct.
Yes, absolutely.
So
if you have anybody else shoot first, it ruins his characterization.
It absolutely does.
He's that scoundrel we love.
He is.
Scruffy looking nerf herder.
I just want to go back to The Simpsons real quick because I think the biggest issue is that they put it in widescreen. Or something like that. They fucked up the aspect ratio, so it's cutting off, or it's doing something with the jokes, like the visual jokes aren't being displayed correctly. They said they're fixing it, but yeah.
How could they not have like picked up on that before they put it on there?
I mean,
They have their theme park employees on it, okay? You know, they only make so much an hour.
Just imagine you're not doing this.
I think that the, you know, going back to the library real quick, it's got some great stuff. I've been slowly watching now. X-Men the animated series is on there. The Amazing Spider-Man is on there. All those Fox Saturday morning cartoons are on there. It's fantastic.
That would be my reason for buying it. That and Mandalorian.
Also, the Jeff Goldblum National Geographic show, which is absolutely fantastic. I watched the first episode, and it's literally Goldblum being Goldblum. Like,
that man's like a cryptid. I'll just watch anything he's in, but I'm like, how long have you been alive? Really?
Oh God, what is the show about? Like, what does Jeff Goldblum do?
He goes into the world of it seems like he's going into some obscure things, into some other like pop culture thing. The whole first episode was about like basketball shoes and like how crazy the basketball shoe scene is, and like these conventions that happen where people literally spend like hundreds of thousands of dollars on shoes. And he had a custom pair of sneakers made for him by like the sneaker guy who makes like all the actors big shoes.
Be Creative 116, which is literally my email that my brother's using. It says life finds a way.
Yeah. And then the next episode is going to be all about ice cream, apparently. So I think that's cool too.
What the hell?
Yeah, I love ice cream. Ice cream. We all scream for ice cream. Anyway.
Ice cream for the Mandalorian.
I could keep going about the library. Karen and my daughter Cecily were watching some
Frozen.
Lego Frozen shorts.
That
which
was
is cool.
wild.
Yep.
So
there's some really good stuff there. So I do want to say for anybody listening right now who has not gotten Disney Plus yet, that I think if you love Disney and you also want access to things from Marvel and National Geographic and all those Marvel shows that are going to be coming out, it's worth the $6.99 and then some.
I guess you can say they have 2020 Vision. Isn't that when Vision's coming out? 2020?
God.
I hate you.
That was good. I didn't know you had a snare feature on there.
Oh, yeah. No, I've given that to you. Oh, no.
No, that was good. You were praising it.
I was.
Yeah, that's right. He messed up live, guys.
I did.
Can't
Well, that's what happens
out.
when we do live. God damn you, Brittany. Damn you. Let's just go over a little bit more about Disney Plus here. Obviously The Mandalorian had a ton of excitement. You know, it's being watched. Matt, you brought this up on our last episode of the show that you had a strong feeling, or not our last, I think during the streaming wars, that this is going to bring back piracy in a big way. And apparently that's already happening. Mandalorian is getting torned to all hell.
Yeah. Wait, I haven't seen any of Pirates of the Caribbean on there. Wow, that goes longer than I thought it was going to be.
Longer, yeah, you deserved it.
The shame builds.
The shame, the shame does build, indeed. God. So yeah, piracy is being, but we have all of these awesome, Marvel shows and Star Wars shows coming. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We have, WandaVision if you're into that. We have the Rogue One show, the Obi-Wan show, which I think everyone is looking forward to. And I'll give a nice.
That's the Obi-Wan for me.
Hello there.
He could not laugh.
No, could not laugh.
Okay, sorry. That just reminded me of Dr. Sleep. But we can talk about that another time.
That's tomorrow.
Yeah, true.
Yep. Smokey on here says, honestly, we need more people who support the things they love instead of pirating. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree completely.
No, absolutely. As I said, like it was going to happen, like whether you support it or not. And I eventually will get Disney Plus. I fully acknowledge that. I might wait until The Mandalorian is completely out so Heather can just watch it all the way through. Because she kind of asked me about it. She expressed a little bit of interest. She was kind of like, well, is it like, she's like, is it, I heard it's kind of a Western. I said, yeah, it absolutely is.
It's 100% a Western. Before we get into our Mandalorian Chapter 1 and 2 review, really quickly, what is the show other than The Mandalorian that we are all looking forward to next on Disney Plus? Brittany?
I'm kind of only here for The Mandalorian. But if they do more Star Wars shows, I'm already sold on any more Star Wars shows that are going to expand the universe.
Well, Obi-Wan.
So yeah, Obi-Wan.
And
the next one.
the Rogue One series. Yep. With Cassian and K2. No. All reprising their roles.
Oh my God. Okay, yeah, then that's it.
Yep.
Those three. If Disney throws anything else that piques my interest, then I'll take them up on it. But
yep.
I'm kind of interested in the what if, honestly. Like I'm hoping they have fun with it. I know we talked about that in a previous episode, but I want them to just go crazy with it. Just enjoy, the potential storylines that gives you. And like Brittany, I'm also kind of excited for more Star Wars stories.
Guys, let's get into it. The Mandalorian. It's debuted. It's on. It's awesome. What do we all think about it? Brittany, I'm going to start with you. Your initial thoughts.
Overall or just episode 1?
We're going to start with chapter 1.
So chapter 1, literally after the first scene of the show, I was like, this is the show that 10-year-old me, who really enjoyed the Bounty Hunter video game, would have lost her mind over. He cuts the dude in half in the door.
He does. It's so
the way
awesome.
he uses like just all of his weapons that you use in the game, and the way he just practically walks in to be like, nope, this is my bounty. Like, sorry to the rest of you. R.I.P. the rest of you, but I'm different. Like, it was incredible. And it like kind of fills that void that Firefly left. I mean, it's not exactly the same as Firefly, but as far as like space Western, this is like, wow. That's what I want.
But you think about that, right? Immediately, like, we had Firefly, we had Serenity, the movie, which was kind of like okay, get off our back. We're not bringing the show back, but here's a movie for you. And now we
tied it up.
Yeah, we have this awesome, sci-fi Western that has been really, missing from sci-fi. So,
yes, the flamethrower.
yes, yes, that was so badass. Matt, your initial thoughts on Mandalorian?
So my initial thoughts is first of all, I can compare this to the movies, and the movies have this grand epic scope, even on like the dingy backwater planets like Tatooine. But this show feels very focused, like because it's a TV show, so that's obviously what it is. And I kind of like the tighter focus of the whole, like, we're not like I do hope they kind of go to other places other than Desert World number 5.
Yeah,
but I mean, I liked what I saw, like much like Brittany, and also. I can't say how happy I am. They finally have fucking armor that can actually stop shit.
Right?
Like, he gets shot and it bing, and like it hits his armor. I'm like, oh my God, somebody's finally wearing armor that actually does its intended freaking purpose.
It's not like plastic stormtrooper armor that's just like, that looks like plastic.
I still think the greatest thing ever is when Family Guy did the Ewok battle, and when one guy's like gets stabbed by a spear, he's like, this armor's useless. Why are we even wearing it?
Well, it's like, stormtroopers, like, one, they can't shoot for shit, and then and then all of a sudden, they're getting blasted through their, literally, I think it's called plasteel. Plasteel
like
armor,
that, yeah.
Meanwhile, the Mandalorian armor is called Beskar, and it's just like, the guy's trying to knife him, and it's bad news for everybody trying to kill the Mandalorian.
It gets even better in the next episode.
It does. Anything else you want to add, Matt?
No, we'll go further.
I'm gonna give some of my thoughts here, because Brittany was talking about the opening scene and how he cuts a guy in half, and how this is really a Western. And I think immediately 2 minutes into the show, when they're messing with the guy who ends up being the Mandalorian's bounty, and all of a sudden you have go ahead.
By the way, we're probably going to be talking spoilers if you haven't seen the Mandalorian.
People know.
I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there officially.
I want to add that in our chat, Be Creative 116 stated that in the expanded universe, the Empire banned all types of blasters that could penetrate their armor, technically. So I said, great point. And he responded, but yeah, sticks shouldn't work. Haha.
or rocks.
I think they Ewok. No.
Get your shit together.
Ewalking on Sunshine? That's it.
God.
Just stop. Go away.
God.
I want a stormtrooper on Ewoks. I'm sorry, guys. You're all in this.
If this is your first time listening to anything on Everything is Permitted, whether this is your first live show or your first episode of our show ever, Brittany makes some pretty horrible puns, and we have all the sound bites just for her.
It's like dad joke levels here. I mean, it's just,
her and my dad could like spend eternity just punning at each other, and it would be brilliant.
You could even do it in French, right?
You could totally do French puns, and I would be giving you guys the massive side eye. Yeah. So the opening.
Go ahead. I'm just excited. Sorry, go ahead.
No, so the opening, right? Like, you get the guys messing with him, like typical, like, two drunken cowboys in a bar messing with the nice quiet guy at his table. All of a sudden, the door opens. It's like the guy slamming the cantina doors open in a Western. Yeah, except it's
which I love infinitely more.
It's so good. It's so good. And immediately, okay, this is going to be a Western. It sets up as a Western. Even that stereotypical thing of like, once the cowboy has his bounty or he has what he's looking for, something always goes wrong, trying to leave a town. And he, they go on the speeder, and all of a sudden he's got to fight this like ice monster, and he almost doesn't make it off the planet.
Now there is one kind of like thing I had to roll my eyes at in regards to the Mandalorian, is the fact that he uses the frozen carbonite to preserve his bounties, and I'm like, so this is now the way they store them. Like in Empire, it was like this new untried, like, look, it might kill him, but like apparently he has like his own little frozen carbonite machine in his ship that he like puts his bounties into.
Well, remember too, this is 5 years after Return of the Jedi, so that's maybe 7 years after Empire Strikes Back. You got to imagine that technology has come a little bit of a way. It's also Star Wars, so technology probably moves up faster than, say, the United States of America.
Maybe.
No, so you didn't.
I think it's just fun.
You didn't
I was like freeze dry your fugitives.
You didn't like the instant.
I mean, I thought it was a little too much of a Boba Fett. Like I felt it was a little too much of that.
I don't know, man. I just thought it was so cool because he had them all in a row there. Like,
yeah, I know he had them stored like you.
At least they didn't have each person being someone interesting that we would have known. Like there wasn't randomly like a Jar Jar Binks in the middle. They could have done that.
Oh,
Disney
look,
could have.
it's the he doesn't like you guy.
He doesn't like you.
I don't like
before we kind of continue with episode 1, where they're calling it chapter 1, I also want to just talk about, how this kind of relates to being a Western again. I thought it was really cool, in a lot of these cowboys movies, they all have a motive. They're doing it for family. They're doing it for a reason. How he's a bounty hunter and that money is going to, this Mandalorian conclave. Basically, he's doing it for his people, for his family. And, the credit that he gets from that Imperial guy, they melt that down and turn that into Beskar armor, which I thought was really cool. But it's that old trope of like, we're doing this for family, or we're doing this to, save our people, because it was the lawless West, in the 1800s. And this is, the Empire has fallen. This is the lawless universe.
Yeah.
So I really liked that aspect of it. So
we're making dry cleaning jokes in the chat right now about how they're all hung up and he just like slides through them all.
The secret Mandalorian community. It is a secret Mandalorian community.
That'll be 50 Imperial credits.
I now picture like a little placard on the bounty that says like, do not put in wash dry or whatever. Like, do not.
Yeah.
Hashtag justice for Mandalore.
Jesus.
So
Mandalore.
I just want to say real quick too, there's a little bit of an Easter egg in The Mandalorian. A certain armored someone showed up very dark in the background.
They were always gonna have him.
I mean, there's no doubt that was Boba Fett, right, guys?
Boba.
I mean, but like we have that discussion though, because I don't know if it's canon or not, but the whole idea of Mandalorians don't accept Boba Fett because he's a clone and so on and so on and so forth. So,
yeah. So Boba was in the background. You could tell. Apparently, if you even you brighten it up a little bit more, he's got the dent in the helmet. The color scheme is all correct. So let's talk about the big reveal at the end of this episode before, the
true star of the Mandalorian.
The true star of the true star of the Mandalorian. Apparently, first our hero meets IG-11, voiced by
Someone. I don't remember.
Taika Waititi guy.
I thought he was the main character.
Korg. No, that's
Pedro
Okay.
Pascal.
I don't even remember
Pascal.
who's who.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, Korg.
That's even better.
Director of Thor
He would be a
Ragnarok, the
side
best
character.
Thor. They have this big firefight, and then all of a sudden they figure out that the bounty that our hero has gotten is a baby Yoda.
They still haven't said
A
his
baby
race.
of the race. We don't know for sure if it's Baby Yoda. Some people think it's a clone. Some people think it's reincarnation.
So let's get right into that. Brittany, do you think that this baby Yoda, which again Matt just said, we don't know the name of the species.
I call it Baby Yoda. I'm just going to call it
Are we
Baby
thinking
Yoda.
this is a reincarnated Yoda?
Yoda with an E at the end. Yoda.
Is it a clone? Is it just another member of his species?
I want to believe it's another member of a species, but like the Force is doing that thing where it's like literally awakening in various people throughout the galaxy, like how they would originally find Jedi. They're just find someone that's Force sensitive or has this power. So hopefully it just means that his race isn't like dying out or completely dead, and there's a new one and they have power. Maybe, hopefully.
I mean, I'd also like to think that it's another member of his race, but I mean, this is the Star Wars universe, and there's
where they love saying everybody's directly related to somebody.
Yeah, there is no like, and honestly, I do feel it's kind of cheap if they make him like he's Yoda reborn, because to me, that's not as interesting. I would prefer it being another member.
Yoda
of
was
his
up to no good in Dagobah.
Be Creative 116 is saying that Yaddle, we all know from episode 1, was a member of the Jedi Council. Now there's some controversy here on whether Yaddle dies during the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
They're trying to figure out whether it's still canon after Disney took over or not, because that was during the expanded universe still technically. Also, the fact that Jedi aren't supposed to have lovers and they're not supposed to get married and they're not supposed to engage in, sex.
But yet as Jedi, we're told to be passionate
exactly.
and compassionate.
Truer facts have never been spoken.
Girl, let me float that pear over to you.
The Yaddle theory is okay, but I go back to it's not, it's not the Jedi way, and I feel like Yoda's people were very stingy on the rules. Mm-hmm. So you never know.
I mean, I always thought that that Yoda's people were always very Force proficient, so this would tie into that. Like, all right, it's a baby that's 50 years old apparently, so it makes sense for him to be able to use the Force like he can.
That is a really cool big reveal they did at the end of the episode, though.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, what is this package he needed to get, or like, what is, his bounty? And then it's just like, baby. Yoda.
The only thing I was really disappointed was the fact that he had to shoot IG-11 in the head. I liked IG-11. I hope he shows up again as another version. Like,
he'll come back. He's a robot.
Yeah. Be Creative 116 says, also the cutest reveal. If you're online, I know we have 10 people watching or listening right now. If you have something to say, we want to hear it in the chat. I also want to remind you that you can call us in to talk about The Mandalorian at 610-724-2503. So
I also wanted to mention just like my general thoughts from the first episode.
Yeah,
I know
please.
You guys have seen like some of our posts about being like in awe of it. But I really like the transitions and the practical effects because it reminds you so much of the original films. Mm-hmm. While it doesn't necessarily carry the same like tone, it gives you that like magical feel, if that makes any sense. Like what got you about the first few movies. And the shots are so beautiful in this. And the music, I can't get over the cinematography and the music. It's just crazy.
The cinematography on the show is absolutely stunning. It's shot like a Western. It's just got these really nice wide shots. They're doing something, Brittany, you mentioned the music, really cool with the scores is the composer whose name I don't have on the top of my head right now said that he wanted to do something unique for this. So instead of releasing, one score at the end of the series, they're releasing a score on iTunes or wherever you get your music on Spotify per episode. And it's a little pricey if you don't have a service, going back to streaming services. It's like $8.99, per, but it comes with a good amount of tracks.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. But the music,
I'm a big soundtrack person.
I mean, listen, the music is 100% Western.
So cool.
The first thing I texted my dad, Brittany, was, if you want to hear the most Western score on TV today, it's from the new Star Wars show, The Mandalorian.
Yeah. And they blend it so well with it being believably in a Star Wars thing. So there's still the part of the soundtrack that sounds very much Star Wars, but it's definitely a different sounding Star Wars.
It is.
It's a good blend.
Yeah, Smokey says, going back to, why the show maybe looks so good and sounds so good, that they have apparently a budget of $2 million per episode, which is big money. But then when you're Disney, I guess that's like pennies.
That's chump change to them.
Yeah. So, Brittany, you said you had a few more items for episode 1?
Yeah, I just commented, move over, Game of Thrones. Dude, I was actually going to comment on this. The first episode of that show was better than the entire season of Game of Thrones, the final season, in my opinion. I was just like, this is more fun.
Wow.
I would tentatively agree with that. Yeah.
We'll see. After this whole season, then you'll really know. But I found myself so excited and like getting into it more than
they were.
Game of Thrones almost hurt me by the end.
There's these subtle things, and I think what's really cool about the show too is that you don't necessarily have all of the answers to everything. Like, there's a theory that guy who hires him isn't even an Imperial officer on the run, that he's just like a rich guy who was wearing fancy Imperial stuff. So, and that he hired, stormtroopers who don't have a job anymore to surround him. I am of the opinion that he is an Imperial officer.
What's that called? Like false glory or something like that when people
impersonate?
I forget what that's called.
I don't know.
Impersonate like army.
Oh, you're talking about Stolen Valor.
Stolen Valor, that's it. I was like, false glory, whatever. My brother just said Stolen Valor. You know what? I'm not in the military. I just
God.
I'm a language person. That was synonyms for the same thing.
Is that dude a Stolen Valor piece of shit?
Be Creative 116 mentioned, do you think the First Order steals metal from the Mandalorians for Phasma's armor? Because hers is very similar.
I believe that her armor is
She took I remember
it's
reading
from
something
Naboo.
that it was
It's
like
Naboo armor from like
'cause it
a
does look very
Nubian.
shiny,
Yeah.
Mhm.
or it was like something from the Emperor's yacht or something.
Because
like
the
that.
Emperor
'Cause he
was
is
from Naboo, and her armor is made out like if those sleek, silver starships. Her armor is made out of
God,
basically.
Dude, I did
why
love
did I
the
know
Naboo
that?
fighters.
Why did I know that?
You hang around me too much, and I know this shit.
Get the fuck out of here.
That was the shiniest.
It was the shiniest.
She
for sure.
polished it.
You shine more like the rest of them. I can't wait to record.
I know we keep getting so excited. About Dr. Sleep.
Before we continue
Stop
more, I am going to give a plug for our episode coming up this Tuesday. We have a great episode planned for you. We are going to be talking about games as a service. More and more loot boxes, season passes, DLC, and we're going to have our guest Billy Peets on. He's been on the show before. He was also one of our Indiegogo contributors.
Yeah.
By the way, big shout out and thank you to our Indiegogo, campaign backers, because without you, we wouldn't be able to do this really cool setup today.
No.
This is really fun. I'm having a blast doing this live. I think we have to do it some more. We're
I'm fine
also
with that.
on Tuesday we'll also have our Dr. Sleep review, which is we're all saying just an amazing sequel that we didn't even know that we needed to The Shining.
Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely touch upon it when we talk about it.
But that's coming up this Tuesday.
My one-word summary for episode 1 is Yoda. Which will then get to my episode 2 one, which is
my one word for chapter 1, Brittany. Chapter
1. Whatever episode chapter.
Chapter 1 is 2 words. I'm going to do 2 words for Mandalore.
Oh.
I'll do 2 words for chapter 1 as well. It's go on.
Yeah, exactly. I'm listening.
3 words. I have spoken.
That is the memes,
Nick
guys.
Nolte.
The memes coming out are high quality. I know some people are staying away from spoiler related memes, but man, once that
Hashtag I have
spoiler
spoken.
waiting there's I've spoken's been used, but soon the Baby Yoda memes are going to pop out
Yep.
faster than a Baby Yoda.
One more thing before we get into chapter 2, and I want to hear from our people listening live as well. What do we think about, because this is something we've talked about for both episodes, the episode length. Episode 1 coming in at 39 minutes and episode 2 coming in at only 33 minutes.
I mean, I kind of wish they were longer, but I mean, if they're as long as they need to be, then so be it. I'm fine with them telling the story as they are, and obviously it's kind of their game, so they can make it like, oh, you know what, this episode's going to be 47 minutes. This episode will be 33 minutes. As long as you tell a good story in that episode, I'm cool with your length.
And so far, they haven't done a bad story in only 2 episodes.
No, I have 1 or 2 gripes about the overall story so far, which I can get to, and we can do episode 2.
Yep.
But
Brittany, you I think you're okay with the length.
Yeah, I think it's I was surprised that it was shorter because I expected them to be hour-long episodes or something crazy, but it's almost refreshing that it's not that length because there's a lot of shows that are moving towards that, especially ones that have higher budgets. But I think where they're cutting the episodes makes sense, and it doesn't It's almost like if they made the episode longer, then it would be more drawn out in the middle, and then you'd feel like it's longer, or they would have to cut at different moments. So I like how both of them ended, and it's in a way that you're ready for the next episode. So I like the length. I don't think it feels too long or too short.
Yeah, and then let's go into chapter 2 now, which was only 33 minutes. Matt, you said you had a couple of gripes, so we'll start with you. Your initial thoughts on chapter 2. Sorry.
No, I don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the episode, and I'm very much enjoying the show. But if I have one small gripe at this point is the main character is he's basically the quiet badass, which every teenager wants to be at some point in their life, and have him talk a little bit more, I don't know much about his character, his personality. I'm more attached to the Baby Yoda that floats behind him literally most of the episode, because Baby Yoda, even though he doesn't say a word, I already kind of am getting more from his personality. When the dude is hurt, he's trying to kind of help him, and he's kind of brushing him off.
I wonder if that's actually what they're going for, is this is a big what do you call it? It's not a reversal, but it's not a MacGuffin either. But
well, I mean, I don't need him to be when I was 5, my father did that. I don't need that, but it's the fact is that he's very limited right now, and Pedro Pascal as an actor they kind of limited him right now. I mean, there's still plenty of episodes for them to do more stuff. But as I said, right now it's all right. He's basically just a badass, which, I'm cool with on the surface, but that's going to lose its flavor the longer you just go with that.
I'm sure it'll get deeper because if you notice, first episode he doesn't talk very much. This episode he talked a little more.
Yeah.
So I think every episode he'll talk a little more.
All I want him when he takes off his helmet, I want because I'm hoping that happens. I want him to kind of sniff it and go, oh, like because they're like never remove your
Because he
helmet.
never takes it off.
Hopefully it'll be a better reveal than when Kylo took off his helmet. That lost it for me because Kylo Ren in the first, like in The Force Awakens, I actually was like, whoa, this dude's intense. Like this is actually legit scary. Like not scary, but you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I could tell he was like powerful Force user, powerful Sith. And then the minute he takes off his helmet, it just lost it for the rest of the movie to me. Like the big reveal was not a good moment. And also like looking at his face, I was like, I'm not nearly as like intimidated by you, nor am I interested anymore.
He looked like he worked at Hot Topic.
I almost wonder though if that was a little bit of the point. It's like, okay, here he is wearing the mask. He's super intimidating, but now here he is. He's just Han Solo's kid. You know,
I mean,
Vader's the same way, where you're just like, you look like this weird, pasty, old
burn
man.
victim. Not even. And
well, I mean,
that's what you get for underestimating the high ground. So,
I mean, I know we're kind of sliding a little bit, but like Kylo Ren was always just a wannabe.
had to do that for the high ground. Sorry.
Like
well, that's the whole
Kylo
point
was
of
just a
Kylo,
wannabe.
yeah.
Like that was his whole thing. Like he was kind of he's fronting quote unquote. So he's acting bigger and badder than he really is. So.
Be Creative 116 says Sith love masks. What can I say? That's absolutely right. Like how many Sith have masks? You know, Knights of the Old Republic.
not my favorite.
Vader.
Darth Maul.
No, but he's got a tattoo mask.
That's his race. You're
No, not the. No, that's all. That's,
oh yeah, well, yeah, but
No.
still, at the same time,
I know. I'm not. What
it's like tats.
Brittany, your initial thoughts on Chapter Dos?
Okay, right away, I just want to say it's so refreshing to see Star Wars without a lightsaber appearing. Like to see a fight scene without there just being like automatic force happening.
Congratulations, you
lightsabers.
just jinxed the show because one's going to show up in the next
it
episode.
probably
Watch.
will anyway.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But you know what?
Did we not see Yoda, baby Yoda, go?
Oh, 50-year-old baby Yoda with a lightsaber?
But I really like.
no, but using force power. Sorry, Brittany.
You skipped ahead. That's okay. We're getting there. But it's just like it's so cool to see these like choreographed fight scenes, and also it brings Star Wars down to a level that's more grounded. Because I mean, it's fantastical. It's a space epic. It's supposed to be like all over the place. But at the same time, the movies sometimes rely on the Force or like the Jedi aspect so much that you lose this aspect of like the other people that are in it and like the rest of the galaxy, how they're living life or what else there is to Star Wars. Because there's so much in the expanded universe and so much in other stories, which is why I'm very much pro these various TV shows happening in various movies. Just seeing him fight and use his like rifle and also just fighting when all these other Bosk-like people appear to fight him in the beginning, I was just like, this is cool. This is awesome. And then see him like blow the dude up and he just disintegrates. You're just like, I wouldn't see that in a normal Star Wars film. You'd get a blaster at the best. You know, they're all the very same weapons all the time, even if it kind of changes. And then you have like Han and Chewbacca with like a super powerful rifle that they use for like a second. So I just thought that was really cool because I don't remember the last time I saw a Star Wars movie where they didn't like, I mean, aside from Rogue One
yeah.
and like Han Solo, the Star Wars movie.
And Rogue One, you still get a lightsaber
Yeah,
at the end, which is
exactly.
still like one of the most badass scenes in film
That was
history.
awesome. But you see, that was done well. And it wasn't like
It was.
overdone. They didn't like have him just like throw people. Like it was like, this is why Darth Vader is scary.
Yeah, no, that was such a badass scene. What I loved about Chapter 2 is that it completely doubled down and said to everybody, this is a Western. Like more than Chapter 1, like this is a Western. You immediately open with them walking in, in this canyon, and what happens? The outlaws come. The rebel cowboys come, trying to take his bounty, trying to take what he has, and there's an awesome gunfight, and there's no disintegrations. There's a disintegration because his rifle is badass. Another hardcore Western scene there. I also loved little Yoda, after that firefight, trying to use the Force, and the Mandalorian has no idea what he's trying to do, so just keeps putting him back in the pod.
Can we appreciate that they're like using realistic puppetry, and even if they're adding CG to certain things, like a lot of it you can tell the way the light's reflecting off of some of the creatures that they first do a puppet and then they're adding CG layers on top of it. Because like the Yoda literally moves like a Mogwai. Like as I'm watching it, I'm like, oh my God, you're a little tiny gizmo in this little carrier. It's so cool.
It is really cool, and that just that moment because he's concerned. He sees him like trying to fix up his arm, and he's like, "Let me help you," and he's like, "Get back in your pod, little one."
He's like, "Baby, stop getting out of your little baby carrier."
Yeah,
and he's just like, oh.
Little Yoda eats a frog though. That like almost horrified.
Dude, that
me.
was like the size of his own body. That got me. I was like, "This is cute and weird. I love this."
Be Creative 116 says, "Bring back puppetry in modern cinema." Yeah,
dude, Dark Crystal did it so well.
Dark Crystal.
My God, I'm losing my mind.
I also. I'm kind of going through this whole episode here because I enjoyed it more than chapter 1.
I did think this was a stronger one. It was more interesting, I think.
It was
compelling.
Jawa hunting.
The
Jawas.
filthy sand people.
As soon as I saw the Jawas, I was like, "How dee!" And then they did it.
They did. You were so happy when they did.
Dude, if I could do that as a voice acting Jawa, I'd be a Jawa.
But seriously, those Jawas are ruthless.
Well, I like that it showed that because they that's what they do. They get scrap metal. They'll do what it takes to get the stuff they need to sell.
Yep, they messed him up, and then they made him go through hell. We'll get to that too. And then, I put this down. Brittany already mentioned it. I'll just say it again. The score is so good.
It is.
The score is so good.
Set design and costumes too. Because I like the attention to detail with the costumes is great. And even the Jawas, they could easily do things, like I said, again, adding CG to certain aspects. But you can tell it looks a lot like the original costumes. And the way their eyes glow, you're like, oh, I know somebody had a lot of fun putting this together. And the people inside it had to have had fun being these characters.
And sorry, Matt, just one other thing real quick. The cinematography in this episode also just got me all over again. Like that scene when he's walking into the hole to fight whatever we're calling it, the angry unicorn, or angry rhinoceros, whatever you want to call it.
I call it a space rhino, but that was
a space rhino is fair too. That shot is just like ridiculously cool as well.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed everything about this episode, even little Yoda eating that frog. Big stomach apparently.
That might be like top 10 moments.
Yep.
Oh God.
Any other thoughts, Matt?
No, I mean, like you guys, I enjoyed the second episode. I do think it was better than the first one. And I'm looking forward, like with the ending with him finally getting off world, I'm looking forward to other locations they could go to. As I said, I'm tired of sand planets in the Star Wars universe.
But then we wouldn't
I'm tired
have
of
the
it.
Jawas.
Yeah, I know. I know. But
there was just so much sand in all the other ones. So they're like, I guess we got to do a little bit of sand.
I hate sand.
But I can't wait. Like you said, I can't wait for a change of pace.
I was just waiting for Force Ghost Anakin to show up and like, I hate sand.
It's so sandy, but you're not sandy. That's why I love you.
And I mean, sorry.
No, you're good.
No, and I am curious because it seems like that, like a lot of people know about Baby Yoda, and there's different bounties out for him because IG-11 said he needs to die. Like my bounty is he dies, while the Mandalorian's bounty was you bring him back like alive if possible. Dead, I understand.
That is a great point. I didn't even realize that.
So we still don't know if he's actually
those outlaws had a bounty tracker too.
Yes, and they had one as well, and they were trying to kill him because the one dude is rushing for the carrier, and when he gets shot. Mm-hmm. So
who do you think? Let's get into like some speculation now as we're going into chapters 3, 4, 5, 6. I think there's a total of 8 or 10, something like that.
I don't know.
Who knows about Baby Yoda? Obviously, the remnants of the Empire. Who else?
Everybody in the Wild West. Everyone in the verse wants this baby.
God.
Firefly.
No power in the verse can stop it.
No, I mean, obviously the Empire remnants, probably some kind of criminal factions, because I mean, it's a baby, so one would think that they want to be like, this thing can use the Force probably. Like if we raise it to be our servant, slave, soldier, it'll be our weapon. So
Be Creative 116 says the Hutts, possibly.
The Hutts.
Dude, the Hutts, especially with their slave trade and other stuff.
Yep.
The Hutts always want anything that's super.
I mean, and look, the Jawas even wanted him too.
Yeah, lucrative on the black.
Yeah.
I noticed that like everybody, all of the worst elements of the galaxy know about these ultra super powerful beings, but like the good guys never seem to know about this shit. Like
they're like, what? There's another one like me?
Oh, and
I
also
am alone on a desert planet.
Be Creative also says, Black Sun,
Yeah.
from Solo, that crew. Smokey says the Emperor. If it depending on if he's been reincarnated or whatever's going to happen in Rise of Skywalker, however this ties in.
How the frig does Luke not know about
the
this?
The buyer is just another one of Yoda's race.
Well, that's a great point too. The New Republic is at this point trying to establish a new government.
Yeah.
Where is Luke in this? Luke's the most powerful Jedi alive. You got to imagine
like
that.
he's trying to establish his academy right now.
And you got
maybe he's looking for more students.
What do I have left for you here?
Do you have the sad trombone, maybe?
I'm not even gonna give her that. I'm gonna give her a little.
Mother of God.
Yeah, just because you're awful. Yeah, so we think maybe the Hutts, maybe Black Sun, other criminal organizations, maybe the New Republic and Luke and whatever Jedi he has, maybe. But you would think that.
But I still don't think he would pay people or
Well,
bounty hunters
that's
to go get it.
the.
Well, I don't think they'd be like, oh yeah, bring him back alive. But if he dies, I totally understand.
That would
pay you
be-
a little bit less.
Luke would just like show up and be like, "This is my baby now." I was also left as a baby
Master
on a
Yoda.
desert planet.
Master Yoda, climb on my back. You're just a baby.
Yeah. I forget my train of thought. Oh, I do love their little interactions though, like the main character and that little Yoda baby. Whenever they interact, it's so cute, and like they're very much both in character, obviously. But even when he's like, "Get away from me," you're still like, "Oh my god, it's so cute." Pick him up.
Before we wrap up here, we're gonna wrap up in just a couple minutes here. Any other thoughts, opinions, speculation on where this is going to go? Obviously, he, like you said, Matt, at the end of this episode, he's off-world again. He has Baby Yoda in tow. Do you think does he bring him back to this Imperial officer? Does he hold off? What's going to happen?
I mean, I have a feeling that, like, because once again, this ties into the whole idea of the guy who hired him for the bounty is Imperial. And I don't know what his purpose is, but I could see them being like, oh, good, you brought him to us. Now we're going to do something. And he's going to have that change of heart and be like, no, I'm not. I'm going to take him. And then there's going to be a fight between them and he's going to be on the run, essentially.
I was just thinking, I was taking it all in.
You were deep
I was
in
just
thought.
like, no, I was, because I was just like, I don't know. They could take it a few different directions. Either he's gonna, we still don't know what choice he's making right now. He could have already decided like, yeah, I'm not gonna take this baby back, or he's, kind of like, this is weird. It's a baby, but I'm getting paid for it. This is my job. And then he noticed while he's being attacked by the other bounty hunters, like, whoa, these are bigger stakes than I thought. Like, is
This isn't
this
just
worth
an
the
ordinary
money? Yeah,
bounty.
it's not an ordinary cargo. Same as Firefly.
It's River.
Exactly. Oh, thank you. But yeah, like I don't know. I'm excited either way. Whether he actually goes to return, what he's gotten, and then he realizes that
Don't
it's like
underestimate
betrayal.
the power of Yoda baby imprinting.
Oh, speaking of Yoda baby power, I liked how they did the use of the Force.
We didn't even talk about that.
Yeah, that's why I'm hopping
Yeah.
back and forth, because like, oh man, I like that fight scene with like the creature, because it was very realistic to show that like, of course he's not just gonna like jetpack around real cool and like flamethrower it and like stab it, do a bunch of shooting stuff. Like
He almost died.
yeah, straight
almost
up.
died.
And I like when it starts in the cave and you just see like the darkness from afar, like you see in Yoda's perspective, little baby Yoda. I hope it doesn't end up being Yoda, dear God. But I see little blaster shots. It's like pew pew pew, and then it's like silent, and then you just see him be like yeeted out of the cave, and it's like, poof, and you're like, oh man, and then it comes out and it's like this giant rhino
did
thing,
totally get
and I was like,
yeeted out.
space unicorn rhino, whatever, and then. That fight, his armor gets like messed up.
It
and
does.
He's like being
It really
tossed
does.
in the mud. He's trying everything. He's using all his different weapons, like shooting flames at it just to not die. And then he has that moment where he's holding up just his final little blade and just ready for it to charge at him and hoping he'll do some
A
damage.
vibroblade.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Vibroblades.
Yeah.
I have a feeling we'll see some of those before this series is over.
Yeah.
Guys, as is
I
our.
didn't mention the Force though.
Oh yeah, keep going.
That's what I
I'm
was
sorry.
getting to. So then, little
Get to your
baby
point,
Yoda-
damn it.
I was. You know what? I'm a storyteller. So then he uses the Force, but it's not in the way that like you would think the Force would be used to just like throw the monster off to the side or pull him out of the way really dramatically. He literally stops it.
Yeah.
And holds it there. And that reminds me a lot of like when Luke first started using the Force to slowly pull up like the X-Wing. And it's a lot more like that.
Is why you fail.
But I like that they did that because he's also small. He's like a baby. Well, in our eyes. So who really knows if he's a baby or not, like 50 years old. But the fact that it took all of his energy to do that, to stop it, but the way he pulls it up and it's like so graceful and stuff, like it's not, I don't know. I like that the Force is being used that way again.
It was
And
cool.
I'm sure he'll get crazy and do backflips and, commit war crimes.
Oh
like
God, I
everybody
hope
else.
not.
But
I really hope not.
I liked it because once again, I feel like it grounded the magic a little more.
Oh, and
it would
Be
be-
Creative 116 says again, and this is a very good point. It's true. Don't forget that animal friendship is
Yes.
canonical in a Jedi power. So
Exactly. So he wouldn't want to kill or destroy, and that's the thing. Like,
and then Mandalorian just stabs him in the neck.
I mean, he had to. 'cause
He did
couldn't
have
get
to,
killed.
otherwise he would have died.
But that is-
he would have gotten dead.
Yeah.
A
to kill
Force
its
user
baby.
would have found a way around killing it. So yeah, I agree with that. And I
Well,
like
yeah,
that they did that.
someone stronger on the Force could have put it to sleep. You
yeah,
know?
and I like that he like immediately passed out because it took so much strength.
And that's the thing. That's what
might have
makes
been
me
the first
think
time
that
he used
this
the Force.
is Yoda, though, because Yoda is extremely strong in the Force. And remember, 50 years old for one of these babies, like he's an infant, or he's not an infant, maybe he's a toddler because he was able to walk around. Like that took a lot. I mean, that thing's probably heavier. Maybe, Matt, you might know this better than I do. What do you think was heavier, big space rhino or Luke's X-Wing?
Probably Luke's X-Wing, I'd say.
Still, that rhino was probably really heavy.
No,
and,
yeah,
and for him
absolutely.
to do that is maybe the first time using the Force. I mean, again, we'll find out in future episodes. Guys, we're going to wrap up, as is our tradition. We're only 2 chapters in, but if we had to review the show with our film reel score meter out of 5, where would we put The Mandalorian right now, Matt?
I would give it to a 4 to a 4.5. As I said, I need a little more acting out of the main character, and as I said, like considering they're dripping the episodes out, like I can still get that. So, I mean, there's my review now, and then when the show is done, when it airs its final episode of this season, and that'll be my final, like, all right, this show is this and this and that. So right now I'll say 4 to a 4.5.
I'm also going to agree that I'm in that range, probably a 4.5, because it's impossible for any show to reach the point where you're like, oh, for sure, greatest show ever, 5 out of 5, after 2 episodes. And it's also, the first season of that show. So I'm in the same boat. I'm waiting for something else to get me, or the plot to go a certain direction where I'm like, now I get where this show is going. I'm behind this. I want to watch every second of it. So 4 out of 5, because I like what I see so far, and I hope I'm not disappointed.
And Be Creative 116 also gave it a 4.5 for sure. And I also want to say a big thank you to Smokey, who just gifted us some pod points, 200 pod points. So thank you so much for that. That really means a lot. Thank you very,
Smokey,
very much.
you the best.
You the best.
You the best.
We really appreciate it, guys. I'm in that 4.5 range too. It's not perfect, but it's really great.
No, yeah.
Really love it. 4.5 film reels. I'm going to make an announcement right now because I had so much fun doing this. You guys don't even know
Me
what I'm going to
too.
say.
I have a feeling I already know, but go.
Our next live show is going to be our Star Wars Rise of Skywalker review.
my
Oh,
God.
boy.
We're doing it, guys.
Are we
So-
seeing it like twice in that week?
We are seeing it twice in that week now because I have extra tickets.
I'm
So-
sweating.
Can't wait. One time in IMAX and one time in Dolby Cinema. I love me my Dolby Cinema.
All right, then.
So
So my episode 2 word was Suka. Yeah. So I had Yoda and Suka. I hope they all rhyme. I hope it's words that end with an A.
and you have a final word for
No, I mean,
Chapter 2?
It's
one
still,
word or 2 words?
It's still basically go on. Like, as I said, like you got me interested. Like that's what I can ask for.
I thought it'd be thank God, like he got off the planet.
Yeah.
That a little bit of that too, but
I will give forward. Yeah. Do or do not. Those are my 4 words.
Next episode's name is
God.
There Is No Try.
Guys, that does it for our Mandalorian special. Everyone who joined us live today, thank you so much. We didn't know how this was going to go. It seemed like everyone had a blast. Thank you for listening live. This episode will be available later on this afternoon on Podbean, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, wherever you listen to our show. For Brittany, for Matt, I'm Julian. We will be back this Tuesday with episode 39. Have a good one.
You can find Everything is Permitted on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. Everything is Permitted is produced by Rob Migliaccio, Nikki Veazey, and Geneva Stein-Shivers. Our executive producers are Michael Cox, Brittany Tomes and the Tomes family, and Julian Brown.